First of all, congratulations. I think it's a great story. When I watched the film, I thought there were two worlds, but the two worlds were one in a way. The beautiful world of music, and then the terrifying world of revenge or trauma expressing itself. Could you comment about the liaison between the two concepts?
Absolutely, and I love the question. Thank you very much. You know, I think the best way to explain that is that, the artistic journey, because Alexis is an artist, is generally often filled with neurosis, with self-doubt, with trauma, with all our life experiences brought into a craft. I'm the son of an artist, the grandson of an artist. I was surrounded by artists my whole life, and just always interesting to see the commitment to their craft and how it stems out of their life experience. So the world of music is part of her craft, but all the trauma and all her life story and what she carries is the driving force of her composition. Now, the composition obviously involves a lot of gruesome experiments, but it is all brought together by an artistic ambition. So this is how we marry the artistic journey and the terror that we show, is that it is all glued together by artistic ambitions.
Uh, Alexis is able to hear the sound of violence as the title. So because why? Because she had a when she was a young girl. Do you want to get away?
Sure.
Let us know the beginning of the story without spoiling anything.
Absolutely. So Alexis lost her hearing when she was a child in an accident, and and early on, when her father comes back from the war with severe PTSD, it turns into a highly traumatic event that she has to take. She's young, she's 10 years old, and she has to take initiative to save herself, essentially. And at that moment, in the midst of that, she regains her hearing. And the same way as, the connection was lost when she lost her hearing in an accident, she reconnects it. And with that, she also develops synesthetic ability. So synesthesia is a condition of being able to experience sound or certain words visually or with the different stimulus. And in her case, it is the sound of violence, the brutal sound of flesh that create colors and light and a whole environment that perhaps disconnects her from the trauma she experiences, and that feeling of reassurance is what she then seeks to recreate in her life.
So, Alex, are you also a neurologist? A little.
No, I did. We obviously consulted, and we made sure that what we, obviously we have the suspense of disbelief, and we have the ability to create the stories in a crazy way. But it was important for us to consult, for example, with the deaf and hard of hearing community, to know that we would do that right, that the possibility of losing your hearing, and how, for example, she would master sign languages, the possibility of hearing coming back, which is the same thing as, like, some people also regain the sight, regain, senses can be, it's all connection that become fragile. So we did some research, and to make sure that we could be as authentic as we could be. But no, I'm not a scientist, and again, I only humbly use the knowledge that actual specialists were kind enough to share with us.
No, but you did your research, and it shows it's good. It's cool to be how you call it, accurate.
Yeah, we tried really hard, and I think it is such a key part, because if we didn't get that right for after, when she has the possibility of losing her hearing again, um if we didn't get it right at the beginning, we would not be able to get it right later on, because we would never have her being really afraid of losing her hearing again, because the what's at stake would not be necessarily believable.
Would you say that Alexis looks for pleasure or revenge throughout those rituals?
She takes no joy in the death. That's very important to say, because she never watches the victims die. She seeks the sounds that will bring her that creative high, that artistic high, that moment where she is immersed in her world with synesthesia, with colors and lights, and she hears music that are up to her artistic ambitions. So the pleasure she gets is the pleasure an artist gets when they manage to create what they have in their head. So she is not angry. She's not after death. She's not making people pay for what happened to her. She is creating, and she is disconnected from what the damages she's causing while creating it. And that was a very important duality with us, because it will mean that the audience will feel conflicted, because I don't think that anybody will forgive her for doing what she's doing, but they will understand part of it. And sometimes they'll be tapping along to the music and then going, oh my God, what's going on? And I wanted to be able to create that duality and that conflict in the audience. And this is where the performance of Jasmine Savoy Brown is so important. She is such a force that when we're with her, we are with her. She draws you in. Her eyes, the way she acts with her eyes, all this performance. I'm an extremely lucky guy, because she really managed to bring Alexis to life and make her jump out of the screen.
I totally understand. She's the driving force. She's great. I was a little like, I have questions about Marie and Alexis. There's a jealousy and a love, but not from both parts, or a different kind of love. Alexis is looking for a deeper love, maybe, I don't know. Or
it's the relationship of the muse. I always, I grew up in France, and so if we think about La Renaissance and the moment where artist and muse relationship was put on display into paintings, and we had a sense of what having a muse means. And Marie is the muse of Alexis. But if you read the stories of the of muse relationship, there are many different outcomes, and they're not, And so the journey here is love, but love also part of a process, because there's a sense that Marie understands, even though she doesn't know what it takes. She connects with Alexis as an artist as well. So it all escalates, and the audience will see how. But we have this moment of partnership and inspiration, and for an artist to have somebody who understands them is a feeling, and then in turn that person brings inspiration. And then we bring James, the character Duke, into the frame, and we create a very complex love triangle that will.
James Jagger.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to know, like, okay, the Oscars, all those award ceremonies this year, they really embraced independent films.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nomadland was produced with $5 million. Do you think the film institutions that were a little kind of too traditional are opening up to new talent, independent filmmakers who are driven by passion, and they burn their credit cards to do things, and they sell their cars, whatever?
I hope so. I really hope so, because independent film is at the root of filmmaking. This is first and foremost, when we all set out to make movies, we set out to make movies at all costs. We are driven by artistic ambitions. I hope,
like Alexis, I hope
Alexis.
But
not at the same cost. I haven't killed anybody to make this.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet.
Well, yeah, maybe I just didn't get caught yet.
No.
But no, I really hope so. I think it's important for all film institutions internationally to embrace the independent spirit of filmmaking, the diversity, the representation that we all thrive to achieve, and to also, I hope that broadly we also create space for genre films to have, and obviously Parasite did a great of good for genre films, to see them as legitimate films with intellectual and artistic ambitions. And I do think that I don't expect the Oscars to have necessarily a genre category for fantastic films and sci-fi and horror, but maybe one day. Maybe one day we won't be classified with comedies.
If I'm not mistaken, this is like your first feature as a producer, director, and writer. You've produced.
Yeah, as a director and writer, yeah. As a producer, I've been a producer for 17 years.
No, I know, but I mean, as a producer of the three hats,
Yeah,
director, producer. No, I
absolutely.
know you, and I'm familiar with Julian's novel documentary.
Oh,
So
nice.
I love Julian's novel, but wait. So what drove you into this one? It's the first time that you did a short too. You directed a short, right?
Yeah,
So
after my documentary. So you saw the Schnabel piece. That was
yeah,
my first documentary, the conversation with Julian Schnabel, and that turned into altogether three short documentaries, a feature about the New York art scene, and then a feature about the 808 drum machine, a music documentary called 808. And so I loved making documentaries, but after a while I wanted to change, to take on a new challenge. And my wife suggested that I look into my first love, which are horror movies, and so in transition, that last movie I made, 808, took over 5 years of my life nearly, and so I was drum machine obsessed. So the first thing I wrote and directed in horror was killing somebody with a drum machine. It was the short film Conductor,
I know.
and that inspired Sound of Violence. So, but yeah, it was fun to be a rookie again. It's fun to change chair and have butterflies in your stomach. It's fun to relate to the work of direction firsthand versus, I've been supporting and championing, hopefully, directors my whole career. So this time it's interesting to be the one in the hot seat. And this is where my producing partner Hannu Aukia as well has been wonderful, because he took on the sort of lead producer role that I normally have, and left me really enough room to follow with my vision. And also my writing seemed to have hit the right notes, and pun intended.
That's cool. That's really cool. So do you live in the UK? Where
I,
are you?
I'm actually in Los Angeles right now. I used to live in the UK. I started my
But
company in the UK,
it
and
looks like the UK is foggy.
yeah, it is foggy because I'm close to the ocean, and in the morning we have in this time of the year we have what we call the marine layer, which is essentially
June bloom.
exactly the June gloom. The June gloom
No,
is
but also you have
a bit
kind of
early.
like your accent is like British American. Some words are very British and some are.
I lived 20 years in France, then I
Oui,
lived in Finland for a year, then I lived 14 years in England, and now I've lived 6 years here. So
yeah,
there you go. It's a
you
it's a
have a.
very
That's
I'm
cool.
nobody knows where I'm from, it seems.
Yeah. No, it's because you could be British or Franco-British or in American.
That's why
So
people believe I'm Canadian.
could be, yeah, from Toronto.
Exactly.
I love Canadians. They're so cool. Okay,
Oh, very
I
much.
think congratulations and great talking to you.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Guy.
Have fun and produce more, direct and produce and write more movies. No,
You can count on that. I'm working on some fun
great.
stuff right now.